Well, good afternoon, all, and thank you for joining the call. Today, we are going to review the Bison Proof of Concept solicitation. My name is LaShawn Brown, and I am the branch chief of the Livestock, Poultry, and Fish branch and the contracting officer for this Bison Proof of Concept. Okay, yeah, help me out, guys. Okay, here we go. Background. In response to input from tribal vendors and FDIPR recipients, the USDA is conducting a bison pilot that will reduce the regulatory burden for producers and allow for smaller local deliveries for producers and recipients. Bison vendors will have an opportunity to submit offers to deliver to FDIPR locations in Montana, North Dakota, and South Dakota. How to become a certified USDA vendor for the Bison Proof of Concept. I missed a slide. Vendors will need to enroll in SAM, which is the System for Award Management. The registration information is there. Vendors will provide documents to become a new vendor, and those are to be submitted to the new vendor email address here. I am certain most of you have spoken with Andrea Lang or Deanna David, and they are your points of contact for the new vendor package. Also, if you run into any issues with SAM, a great contact to help you register are Apex Accelerators. Apex Accelerators provide free counseling and training for vendors and tribes that want to do business with the government. One of the great things about Apex Accelerators is their free help with SAM registration. Your contact for this pilot program is Abigail Amdow. Her telephone number and email address are listed there. It is, get this out of the way. You get rid of that. I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. I don't know how to get rid of that thing. It is extremely important that you designate your business as a small and hub zone in SAM. If you do not designate a hub zone, you will not be eligible for award. You are still able. Yes, sir.
I apologize for interrupting you, but for the benefit of those two people that are on the phone, would you mind reading out Miss Amdal's phone number?
Absolutely. It is 406-696-4039. And the email address is aapple, O Oscar, M Mary, D David, A Apple, H Harry, L Larry, at N Nancy, A Apple, D David, C Charlie, hyphen N Nancy, A Apple, B Boy, N Nancy.org. And again, it is very important that you designate yourself as a hub zone in SAM so that you are eligible for award. You may submit your offer. However, you must be registered in SAM as a hub zone at the time of award, which will be by August 30th. But we encourage you to start working on that now if you have not already begun. Right? There are two parts to your proposal submission. You will submit your proposal via email to myself at the email address listed, and that is for those on the phone, LaShawn, LASHAWN, like Nancy E. Brown just like the color, at usda.gov. And Glenn Reed, GLEN Nancy dot R Robert E Edward I Igloo D David at USDA.gov. If you can send the email to both of us, your proposal via email. The proposal shall address the following: tribal engagement. Offerers will describe their history, knowledge, and ability to support the local tribal community. Food safety and handling requirements. All contractors must meet the required elements listed in this section. State inspection establishment number or the USDA establishment number. You can list that in your narrative. Also, item description and requirements for frozen ground bison, Exhibit 1, and microbiological testing, and that is Exhibit 1A, both of which are attached to the solicitation. You just need to acknowledge that you do meet the requirements of both. The next slide. Past performance experience. Relevant experience with requirements similar in size and scope to this opportunity. Description of pack size. Offerers are to provide the pack size available. We have 3 offerings for the ground bison: a 1 pound chub, a 2 pound chub, or 2.5 pounds. We need to know which you are able to provide. On the next slide, you will address the delivery locations, quantities, and pricing. I have, for illustrative purposes only, filled out the sheet that will be attached to the solicitation. And in that, you will identify the material in which you wish to offer, a price, and pounds per month that you are able to deliver. You do not have to deliver to each location. Wherever you are able to deliver, you would enter, again, your material, the price per pound, and how much you are able to deliver in a given month between November 2024 and 2023 and April 2024. Again, a spreadsheet will be attached to the solicitation after this call, and you would simply plug in your information in the attached spreadsheet. The evaluation criteria for this solicitation. The evaluation factors are listed in descending order of importance as follows: technical information, tribal engagement, food safety, pack size, delivery location and quantities, past performance, and price. Go back just once more. The technical information and past performance are most important. Price will be the last factor in which we will evaluate. We want to ensure that you are able to deliver to your local tribal community and that you meet the food safety requirements, and that you are able to provide the pack sizes and delivery locations and quantities. That's more important than the price. And in addition to past performance, those will weigh more heavily than the price. The written narrative shall be submitted via email to myself and Glenn Reed. Those proposals must be submitted to us by August the 17th, 2023, by 1 p.m. Central. In addition to the written responses, each offerer will be allotted 45 minutes to present oral responses, and you are simply, we will discuss the responses that you have provided via email, just to get clarity if necessary. Presentations will be scheduled August 21st and the 22nd, and we will reach out to you to schedule those. The government does seek to award multiple offers under the solicitation. Successful offerers will be notified via email no later than August 30th. We want you all to be successful in this pilot program, so you have contacts available to you to assist you in each step of this process, up to and including up to award, actually up to becoming a vendor, and then delivery and the invoice process. We will walk you through each step. And so, again, this is a listing of the important points of contact. It lists myself and Glenn Reed, the contracting officers. New vendor contacts would be, I'm sorry, I misspelled Deanna's name, Deanna David and Andrea Lang. Your WebSCM contacts would be Darla Sidnor and Nigel Buoga. And the System for Award Management is, of course, sam.gov, and there's a telephone number there if you need assistance. Also, I did not mention, on the sam.gov website, there's a help button that gives you a wealth of information should you need assistance. But again, you do have Abigail available to you to walk you through the process. For food safety and technology, we have we have Darren Dorsher and Steve Winslet. Wisnot. Unfortunately, I made this too big. So when I send it out, I'll make this smaller so that you can see Steve's information as well. I apologize for that. And now, if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to address them. Also on with us are the WebSCM, your support in WebSCM, as well as your contacts for new vendors. So you have everyone here that can answer any questions that you may have.
I have a question.
Yes.
My name is Ron from South Dakota.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that, Ron.
The delivery locations, quantities, and pricing. You
Yes,
have
sir.
lists of tribal nations. I was asking, why isn't Standing Rock on this list? Standing Rock Sioux Tribe.
The locations that we are delivering to are current FDIPR locations. So if that particular tribe does not have a FDIPR location, then they would not be listed.
Hey, LaShawn, this is
Yes.
Laura Castro, and let me add in, there are some tribes that receive their food currently through FDPIR through a state-administered warehouse, and that's why you will see Montana Department of Public, HHS, and North Dakota Department of Public Instruction. Those are locations that service a number of tribes. I believe, and we can confirm this, that Standing Rock is served by North Dakota Department of Public Instruction. So that's why you don't see them listed out separately. The tribes that are listed separately are tribes that are receiving food directly from our National Multi-Food Warehouse currently, and the others that are getting their food first from the National Multi-Food Warehouse, going to a state agency warehouse and then to their warehouse are considered to be delivery locations of either Montana Department of Public Instruction or North Dakota Department of Public Instruction. I hope that helps.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is Jamie at Cheyenne River. I had the same question as to why Cheyenne River wasn't on there. Another South Dakota tribe.
Yeah, so the idea is that when vendors bid to either the North Dakota State Warehouse or the Montana State Warehouse, then those bids would be good for the tribes that are currently being serviced by those two state warehouses.
I don't see a state warehouse for South Dakota though.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, that's right. Because you're in Wyoming, correct?
No, I'm in South Dakota.
You're in South Dakota.
Cheyenne River Sioux tribe, and then Ron was referring to Standing Rock Sioux tribe.
Right. Okay. I'll have to go back and see. I know there was a tribe serviced by South Dakota, I believe, that was in Wyoming. That would not be part of this pilot, but if you're not, yeah. And I'm assuming, LaShawn, on your slide, are you actually listing all the locations, or was that just a few
Yes.
for illustration?
No, these are the locations that you all provided to us.
It looks like it's basically all the South Dakota tribes minus Standing Rock, Cheyenne River, and Flandreau. Santee.
Hi, this is Josiah Griffin with the Office of Tribal Relations. Looking at the spreadsheet, I recognize that we are looking to target the COMODs or the FDPIR sites, as we've discussed in South Dakota, North Dakota, and Montana. I know that sometimes when we look at formatting in some of these tables, particularly where we have a text box at the bottom, I think some of the table might have been cut off. And so we can certainly work to reformulate this table to make sure, in conversation with Laura's team at the Food and Nutrition Service, that all of the either Indian tribal organizations or the state agencies that are administering an FDPIR site are appropriately referenced for demonstration purposes. But again, as we've discussed, this table is predominantly here for illustrative purposes, and we are hoping to use this as an opportunity to engage with you to discuss process, make sure that you're comfortable with what the requirements are that are being proposed, and make sure that you're able to get into the system to make an effective sale to USDA, to be able to deliver not just to a USDA warehouse and then have it redistributed halfway across the country, but to a more localized FDPIR site that you identify and help identify with us through your bid. So I don't want to belabor this point too much. We certainly make sure that you have a comprehensive list after this, but happy that we're able to discuss process here, and I want to continue to take questions about process and make sure that those are raised. But Laura and LaShawn, please correct me if I'm wrong, but if there is a site in North Dakota, South Dakota, or Montana, it is fair game for this proof of concept purchase.
Yes, that is correct. It's just a matter of those that currently get food directly from our National Multi-Food Warehouse would be considered one way, and those that are currently serviced by a state warehouse, the vendor would bid to the state warehouse.
Yeah, and I just want to add something too, is that when this is over, we're going to put together a Q&A where we're going to capture the questions that you asked and the questions that were in the chat, and include the answers. So that's where we can clarify this and make sure that we have all the locations listed properly. And that will come out as an amendment to the solicitation. So LaShawn, did you want to add anything to that? But just so you know that we're capturing all the conversation here, and that we're going to be providing an amendment to the solicitation, which will include those Q&As.
Yes. I have nothing further to add. Were there any additional questions? I see some in the chat before I address those. Did we have anyone, see a hand raised? Jamie?
I just had some questions. I know there was some talk about adjusting the lot sizes. Has any of that, since we kind of have some numbers here for the microbial testing, has the lot size changed, or has that been revisited?
I believe it has, and that's addressed in the exhibit 1A that's attached to the solicitation.
And Steve I think Steve was next on the call too. Steve, could you address that?
Yeah, I think on 1A, we specify that the lot size for the boneless bison is 2,000 pound combo, and for the ground bison, a 10,000 pound sublot. And I believe that, I don't know if it's specified on there. Anyway, I think there was a notation in one of those documents about adjusting those lot sizes depending on the production. You know, I know that they're pretty small volumes on a monthly delivery basis to some of these places, and so a 2,000 pound lot of boneless bison is not going to be applicable. So I believe, you know, what we're going to allow as modifications to those depending on the production model or whatever the production is going to be at these processors.
Thank you, Steve.
Yeah, I believe the exhibit 1 has a notation in there about modifying the lot sizes.
If everyone could mute, please. Any other questions from, actually, I see a hand up, but it is in the box that gives me a total number of people, so I can't see.
Fanny's got her hand up.
Yeah.
Okay. Go
Yes,
ahead,
hi,
Fanny.
this is Fanny Brewer with Intertribal Agricultural Council. And you guys will, somebody on your staff is going to be sure to get back in touch with Ron and Jamie on exactly where they need to put their numbers. Since Standing Rock and Cheyenne River are not on this list, and so it doesn't have the material number and all the information that they would need. So somebody's going to be back in touch with them, right?
Yes, we
Okay.
will. Mhm.
All right. I was just kind of clearing that one up. Thank you for your time.
You're most welcome. Thank you for your question.
I have
Looks
another.
like, go ahead.
This is Ron again, from Standing Rock. This is kind of the first time we're participating ever in this program like this. So we built up our herd over many years, but what size is it? Like, we have to minimum of 5,000 pounds, 10,000 pounds, 15,000 pounds of burger. Is that a certain amount that we have to put in, or is it, what do you guys have that we have to match or agree to, say whatever your guys is, or not what it's
What-
our, I guess.
Whatever you are able to deliver is what you would provide in your offer. You do not have to deliver the entire quantity that is requested. If you're able to, great. But if you aren't able to, you would simply in this column list what you are able to deliver per month.
Okay.
And again, it doesn't have to be the maximum quantity that's on the solicitation, nor do you have to submit an offer for each location, only where you are wanting to deliver.
Okay, so follow-up question. This is Ron again.
Mhm.
Price per pound, you got 53, 65, 76. Is that just to be numbers just out of the air that you put there, or what
Yes.
makes those numbers mean?
I made those up. This is just for illustrative purposes only. So for example, if I were vendor XYZ, I am submitting an offer to Blackfeet Browning for the 1 pound chub at $53 per pound, and I am able to deliver 30 pounds per month.
I mean, what is wrong with putting, done this many times before, what is wrong with putting like an estimate of what the actual numbers of the past like?
I'm sorry, you said what is wrong with?
You guys, you out of the air. Why can't you put numbers in there from the past? You've done this before, right? Why can't you use those old and kind of say this is kind of what it was in the past? So give us an idea for the new people to have a realistic, competitive ideas of what to bid. I mean, it's hard for us this side to try to figure out what needs to be put in there. You know,
Okay,
$2,
what I can,
$100, what put in there. You know, it's give us the estimate, work with us or something.
right, again, I just made up the number for illustrative purposes, but what I can do in the amended solicitation is attach what is called a PCA of the last Bison purchase, and that will show you what we paid on that last solicitation.
That would be very helpful.
And that should
Thank you.
definitely help you. Absolutely.
I'm good. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Fanny, you had another question?
Yeah, I actually was was right on what the topic of Ron was talking about, that there needs to be some actual numbers. And is there any way to get the information of like historical 5-year, 10-year numbers of the ground bison? I know they've been within the FDIPR program. Is there any way to get a hold of that information so a person can kind of go on some averages? Because last year may have been a low year, it may have been a high year, but if we can go on some historical numbers from the past, would be helpful for these producers that are considering this pilot project.
Okay, and those actually on our website, you are able to access all of the previous Bison purchases.
Okay.
And that should take you back, I'm not sure that it goes back 5 years, but I would say at least 3.
Okay.
And that
where
would be on the commodity procurement website.
We can also add it, we can add a table with it to our amendment, so everybody can see what the historical's been.
Yeah, that would be great. That would be really helpful. So when they're making their decisions, they kind of have more of a figure to go by, a more actual figure. But thank you.
Right.
You're very welcome. Troy?
Thank you. And I guess I'll add to that conversation. I would just caution looking back at, and for those of you who don't know me, I'm Troy Heiner. I'm the Executive Director, Intertribal Buffalo Council. I'm a Sicangu Lakota from Rosebud. I would just caution looking back at past purchase price or price points because of the unique nature of small or tribal buffalo herds, the added expense for transportation to a processing facility. That's why you need to figure all of those things in and not just try to hit what has been paid in the past. You need this to pencil out. So figuring, though it could be helpful to know what it was purchased at in the past, that I don't think that's the ultimate goal, because that has always been a barrier for tribes and tribal producers, because they could never meet that price point versus large commercial buffalo packers. So I would just throw that out there. A couple questions that we have from our participating tribes. Number one is the SAMS number. It does take time, and we have a very short window. Is there going to be are there going to be something that allows you to say, it's pending while we're working on this process? When you're working with tribal governments and you're working with different agencies within those tribal governments, one group might have a SAMS number while another one doesn't. So, or if you're just a tribal member producer, you don't have access to the tribal SAMS account. So we need to, kind of expedite that. But, is there any opportunity for that to be pending? The other question I had is, or what we're hearing is, do we have any idea of what these tribes are requesting as far as the amount of buffalo meat that they would be needing in that given month? When you look at the tribes in South Dakota, you have 3 very large tribes, and then I would say 4 fairly small tribes. Those numbers are going to be vastly different. And do we have any idea of that, or how does that get selected? Do we just say, hey, we can provide 10,000 pounds, and if we say we can provide 10,000 pounds to Crow Creek Sioux tribe, but they only need 2,000, you understand what I mean?
I do. And the numbers that are in the actual solicitation are based on what has been delivered in the past.
Okay.
So it's a pretty good gauge of what is needed monthly. And to answer your first question about SAM, you will have to be registered. I would suggest that you work with Andrea Lang and Deanna and Abigail so that your SAM can, I don't want to say move along quickly, but will stay, it will be constantly worked on to get you approval, but you must be registered in SAM prior to award. Okay. That will be by August 30th.
Okay.
And can I just add one more thing? As far as the quantities to those locations, like LaShawn indicated, those are the quantities that we're anticipating in that range. But we do have included in there the ability to increase it if both parties mutually agree on it. So if F&S determines that they would like more bison, or those locations determine that they would like more bison and it's available from a vendor or a couple vendors, then we could work together to amend their award to increase it. So LaShawn built some flexibility into the solicitation. So if there's a desire for the recipients, which are the FDIPR locations, to get more, there's kind of built into the solicitation that ability.
Okay.
Don't see any more hands.
Josiah's got his up.
Oh, I didn't see it. Go
And
ahead.
thank you, Elizabeth. So I think that not to detract us from being able to answer the questions that are in the comments, because those are equally important. But I think there are two things that I personally would love to see as part of kind of how do we measure success in this proof of concept purchase pilot. One is the number of new tribal vendors that we're able to bring online. Two is the amount of like tribal or hub zone led ground bison that we're effectively able to get into these FDPIR sites at a local level. For the second one, for the first one, I'll say for getting online for an AMS vendor on the qualified bidders list and working through SAMs. We are very blessed to have folks like Abigail, and I apologize if I mispronounce your name, but Amdal on the line with us and other partners that are helping tribes move through getting a SAMs number. But we know that this process can take a little bit of time sometimes. So I would also encourage you, consider having a backup. If you don't think you can get a SAMS number immediately based on how far along you are in the process, consider working through the part of your tribe that does have a SAMS number, or consider working through as part of like a co-op structure, another bison herd manager that has a SAMS number so that you can up the amount of quantity that they're able to sell into USDA while you're simultaneously working to get that number yourself. Because we do want you individually to have a SAMS number and to be qualified on the qualified bidders list, but we also want to make sure that you're able to submit that bid to get that product moved in. And I just want to throw in that part in for a quick discussion before we shift gears to the questions in the comments, is know that we're running close to that 15-minute mark.
It was a great suggestion, Josiah. Was there a question in there, or you were just making a statement for?
Just building on, we recognize that getting a SAMS number is a process. So it's always helpful to just have a backup plan as you're working to get your SAMS number up to date for your own business enterprise. And then Elizabeth, I don't know if you want to turn it over to the questions that are in the chat. Looks like they're starting to build out a little bit.
I
Yeah,
was just looking over there.
yeah, you want to start on them?
Yeah, let's see. Can you please, oh, no, that was about the meeting. The hub certification needs to be in by the offer due date or award date. That would be the award date. Is this sheet in WebSCM? No, it will not be. It will be attached. Well, yes, it actually will be. It'll be attached to the solicitation. However, you do not submit the sheet to WebSCM. You would include that in the email to myself or Glenn, or myself and Glenn rather. Understand, to submit a bid to even be considered bidder must be SAM verified small business and a hub zone. To receive an award, yes, you must be in SAM and you must be designated as a hub zone. Do you have any high-level info of hub zone qualifications, ownership, operation located within the zone, employees location within the hub zone? Andrea and Deanna can assist you with that. If you give them a call, they can definitely give you more information on the hub zone qualifications. Next, and These are the only bidder type qualification requirements, i.e. no minority owned or women owned or similar type of bidder requirements. No, it is strictly 100% hub zone. Now, if it is a woman-owned business and you're in a hub zone, that'd be great, but it's not a requirement. The only requirement is that you are a hub zone. You couldn't provide during 1 month, would you just list that as a constraint? Actually, if you aren't able to deliver in a particular month, you would not enter anything because you don't want to be considered for that particular location or that month. Let's see, will purchase orders be issued on a monthly basis? No, you will receive one contract for the entire delivery period. For this program, does USDA have a cap price or is this a will award proposal? Even if prices exceed historical, seems small quantities at remote delivery locations will drive prices higher than normal bulk purchase in the past. Again, the most important evaluation factors are the technical factors. If you are currently how you support your local tribe and your past performance. Price is considered last. Now, the government does pay fair and reasonable prices. However, as you stated in the question, due to the uniqueness of this program, the remote delivery locations, we do expect prices to be slightly higher than a normal purchase. But again, don't be concerned about the price. Enter your price and it will be considered. Let's see, this is Fanny. Let's see, could I please get this recorded? Yes, absolutely, Fanny. We're going to attach this to the amended solicitation. Hopefully I'll be able to do that. Let's see, how is the processing side of this program approved? Will all the processors have approved technical proposals? Steve, if you can address that question, how is the processing side of this program approved? Will all the processors have an approved technical proposal?
No, technical proposals are not going to be required for this proof of concept program. I believe, if you look at the proof of concept RFP, the requirements are in there as far as the state or USDA inspection requirements, the micro testing, those kind of things are in there, and that's the extent of the technical qualifications, being able to meet the requirements that are in those documents.
Okay, thank you. That's to the earlier question about delivery sites. The North Dakota Department of Public Instruction warehouse serves Standing Rock, three affiliated, Turtle Mountain and TISA or TISA in North Dakota and Cheyenne River in South Dakota. The Montana, oh, this is Laura Castro. I'm sorry. That's Laura clarifying the destinations. My apologies. I believe I captured all the questions in the chat. Okay.
And
Yep.
there was just, I was just gonna say, there was just one thing to clarify too, is that the hub zone designation and approval, we need your hub zone application and package submitted before, I guess before award, right? But it doesn't have to have gone all the way through the approval process. Correct, LaShawn? Like we talked about this morning? The hub zone package.
Well, they have to be approved prior to award. So yeah, there's a hub zone, application that is submitted to the SBA, and they designate you as a hub zone. So if you can get that, start working on that rather quickly, we may be able to expedite, but you must have the application submitted before we can do that. And in the chat here, Deanna has actually listed the hub zone supporting documents checklist. And that should give you everything that you would need for your hub zone application.
Oh, there we go.
Do we have any additional questions? Okay, well, Elizabeth, do you have anything? Oh, I'm sorry, Fanny, I just saw your hand.
Yeah, I was gonna ask a question, but I think it got answered in one of these in the chat that I had.
Okay,
So I was good.
okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Elizabeth, did you have anything before?
I don't. I'm just, thank you guys for participating. Thanks for the interest in the program. I think this is an opportunity to really do something different and innovative that could really help Indian country, and is a great opportunity to get local meat delivered locally. And we really want to help you. We really want to help you be successful with that. That's why we have a lot of dedicated resources. This is priority one for us. We will do everything we can to help you. And again, LaShawn will be following up with amendment to the solicitation that's going to include clarification about the locations. It's going to include the Q&As that we've talked about today, and any other, clarifications that we've talked about. So, and if you have other questions, please reach out.
Yes.
LaShawn and Glenn are the contracting officers on this. Please reach out, and, we really want to help you through the process. So anything that you have a question about, we want to answer as quickly as possible, because we realize there's a short timeline on this. So again, I just want to thank everybody for participating, and thank you all for your interest in this program.
Thank you also.
Thank you. If there are no further questions, again, I thank you for your time and have a great day. Oh, I'm sorry. Hang on 1 second. I do see another question. Will an additional proposal be issued after April? It's very possible, depending on the success of the pilot program. So basically, any processor that meets local regulations is able to process this meat. So no approved processing facilities that go through all the work to be an approved vendor. That is correct. It's either state or USDA approved. So if you are already meet local regulations, you are able to participate in this pilot program. All right, seeing no other questions, I again thank you for your time. And as Elizabeth stated, if you have any questions, please reach out to myself or Glenn Any WebSCM questions, the contacts are there. Any technical questions, contacts are there as well. That's Steve. And new vendor qualifications and SAM and HubZone. If you need assistance with that, that would be Andrea and Deanna. So as Elizabeth stated, we want you to be successful. We are here from beginning to end. And I thank you for your time. Everyone, enjoy the rest of your day.